What's up YouTube, this is Shuttleboy and I'm back with yet another video. Today's video we're going to be talking about Golf Wang and when a new release is going to be happening. It's been quite some time since we've had a release. A lot of people are itching to have some more golf, and I'm just going to go over when I think that window could be, and is it sooner, is it later, is it spring, summer, is it fall, what is it? So let's get right into it, guys. Alright, so this video kind of sparked as a result of just people asking me, when do I think Golf Wang is going to pick up again? Obviously, it's been quite a lull ever since the whole pandemic thing happened. We haven't really heard anything of Golf Wang clothing coming out other than those Giannos in that blue colorway and that pink colorway were the last things to really release, and we have not seen anything since then. Now, I believe we've seen some things restock, different things pop up back on the site, but I don't believe we got anything new since that release. It's gone pretty much silent. They really haven't said much of anything. Yeah, we just really haven't gotten much of an update other than we did get a comment on an Instagram post from Golf Wang saying something like, you guys keep asking for clothing, but who's going to be wanting a new drop when you're just going to be wearing it inside the house? Which, I mean, is very obvious reason why they aren't releasing stuff is just the fact of the matter that during this time, people aren't looking to spend their money nearly as much. A lot of people are trying to save. I mean, me, for instance, I haven't really bought much of anything since this whole thing started happening. I've bought very little, a couple shirts here and there, but nothing that was a big purchase. And a lot of other people are in the same boat. I mean, I know that I'm very privileged and well off at the moment, but there's a lot of other people that just can't really afford to be doing something like that at all. So golf really acknowledges that, and I think that they're just waiting for a time when they know people are a little bit more well off and just gonna have a lot more customers that are interested. The last thing they want to do is kind of jeopardize the brand and release a ton of stuff during a time when nobody can afford it, then nobody buys it, it's all in stock, so they just have a ton of stock laying around, and then that also kind of decreases the hype of the brand as well. Just seeing, say they were to release a ton of flame stuff and it just sat there because nobody could really afford to buy it at the time, then that kind of wouldn't be a good look for Golf Wang. A lot of people would be like, wow, did they really fall off like that? That would be a bad look. So I think as far as saving face as well as just the monetary value of how many people are going to be able to buy, the smartest thing to do right now is just to hold off until a better time. I don't know about the employees at Golf, how well they're doing exactly, but I can imagine that Tyler would be helping them for a long time, make sure they're still on their feet. But with that out of the way, even with that, I would say that there still could be a release on the horizon, but I think another thing that you have to keep in mind is who Tyler is as a person and just his attitude towards things lately, which I think people aren't really thinking about all that much when it comes to this. Obviously, something that's been huge, just a massive movement that's been going on lately that, I mean, it's been going on forever, and that is Black Lives Matter. As you guys know, if you haven't seen that video I posted about it, definitely check it out and definitely support the movement. That matters a lot to me, and it should matter a lot to you. That is something that obviously has been a very talked about point in recent times. It's always been a point that's been talked about, but obviously with current events that have happened with George Floyd, etc., it's been a bigger talk more than ever before. If you haven't been on social media lately and you don't follow Tyler, you might not notice this, but Tyler on social media has been very vocal about the whole situation and just talking about and trying to raise awareness as well for Black Lives Matter and just the whole situation as far as different things involving cops and different racial injustices and such. So he's been very vocal about that. He's been very focused on that sense. He even posted on the Golf Wang page itself 2 or 3 posts showing clothing that was kind of inspired by giving black power or amplifying the voice of some black individuals, which was really cool to see with the clothing, and I think he was just trying to show even more that it's connected in a broader sense to the clothes and an extension of him. I mean, obviously, as being a black man himself, he's going to be very passionate about that. And why I'm bringing all of this up, why this all connects to that, is I think Tyler, at least to some degree, is aware that him releasing a bunch of clothing might be a bit of a distraction from what's going on in the world. Obviously, he is a black man himself, so it would be supporting a black business in a sense and supporting a black man himself. But I think how his behavior has been lately of just being an advocate for such, I think it shows that he really knows what's up with this. It shows that he really wants to take action with this, and I think he's aware, of all people, he's aware of just the hype he has around him, just what control he has on the youth, and I think he's aware that if he was to drop more Golf Wang clothing, whether it be with Converse or whether it just be his Golf Wang brand, Golf LaFleur, any of that stuff, I think he's aware if he was to do such a thing, that would take eyes off of the matters at hand, and I think he is aware of that and he wants to stay away from that, and I think that's a smart thing to do. This is kind of an issue that's happening with the NBA right now as far as whether or not they should come back. Is that going to be a distraction from getting traction on this movement? Clothing, sports, TV, whatever it is. He's aware that it is going to be a distraction whether you like it or not, and I think that's why he wants to stay away from it, at least for this time. So obviously, knowing all of this, I mean, he's obviously going to have to release clothing at some point. They're not just going to end the brand completely. So when do I think that it's actually going to release? I would have to guess late July is probably the earliest we would get it, I would think. And August is probably the most realistic time period we could be getting some clothing. Now, I don't really think they want to miss summer altogether, so that's why I kind of think it has to happen around that time period. I think they would want to release things. I'm sure they had a lot of things underway that they just never released. I don't think they want to have to wait any more than they have to release these things, just because the plans of a clothing brand usually are well underway before they actually meet the retailer release date. I'm sure they have a ton of things that are already underway right now. So I think it's only inevitable for there to be a clothing drop of some sort in late July or August of some time, just because they probably are sitting on at least a decent amount of stuff, and they definitely want to at least make some money sooner or later. Maybe it might just be an online drop. That's something I could see. But one last thing I do want to say as far as the clothing drop is concerned with Golf Wang. I would expect there to be at least a couple of items in this drop that are related to Black Lives Matter in this drop. I think one thing that could be holding this back, and I don't have any source to this, but I think one thing that could be holding this back to become maybe an August date or a late July date is, I'm sure Tyler recognizes the situation at hand, and I think he's recognized, as we've seen with these Golf Wang Instagram posts, that he has released Black Power related things in the past as well with his brand, that he could release some things now that can kind of bring a statement to the world through clothing, and I could definitely see that being a focal point for the drops to come, and that might be something that they're kind of waiting on. But that's pretty much going to conclude the video, guys. All in all, I do have to say I'm not really dying for golf right now. I really am excited to see what's new that's going to come out, and especially with all the current events that have happened right now, I'm definitely keeping my eye to see if they do anything that kind of reacts to how the world's been going on, because I would really personally love to see that. But definitely one thing that is to note is, at the end of the day, guys, this is just clothing, and it's not a necessity. It's a necessity to have clothes, but not the bulk or the hype that we have these days. So take your time, Golf Wang, is all I gotta say. I'm not dying to have it, as long as everyone is safe and focusing on what matters most. That's what matters the most to me too. But anyways, please let me know down below what you guys are thinking as far as the clothing drops go. Do you think it's gonna be happening soon, or do you think it's way off in the distance? Do you think what I said makes a lot of sense to you or not? Also, please hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video, guys, and please subscribe if you haven't already for more Golf Wang, more sneakers, more clothing, more Shuttleboy. And this is Shuttleboy, guys, and I'm out, guys. Peace. In the description box below this video and in the comments section, I will link a Google Doc with a list of simple things you can do to help further the Black Lives Matter movement. There's petitions you can sign, text messages you can send, and even a place to donate to on the document. The most important thing is that you check your privilege, you listen to what the black community is saying to you, hear their stories and experiences, amplify their voices, vote, protest, call out your ignorant and or racist family members and friends, and be open to learning and being criticized.